welcome back to the shed. Well, unit, you know what I mean. I've got the front subframe out. Ta-da! So this is horrible and nasty, just covered in filth. Oil, it's a Mini, leaks oil. So the oil is all over the front subframe. It's done a good job of preserving it, mind. But, you know, we're gonna work some magic on it and strip it, clean it, paint it up, get it looking nice. I'm not going to remove the top and bottom arms on these because I've already done the bushes in the past and sorted them all out, so I don't need to strip the front suspension to do any of that either. The only thing I need to do is get the shock absorber off because it is on there fairly solid. Calipers off, brake lines, the gearbox stabiliser and this polyurethane subframe mount. So basically this polyurethane, most polyurethane mounts have like tubes to stop the bolts from over tightening and compressing the polyurethane and basically just either pulling through them, because there's supposed to be a washer to load spread and all that sort of thing as well. But this is missing a tube. In fact, I think it's missing two. So that's coming off. I'll probably end up cutting it off because basically where it's been over tightened, not by me I add, this was on here when I got the car. So the bolts basically pulled through the mount itself and got stuck, so you can't get the socket on it, which is a bit annoying, but hey ho. So yeah, so I think in this video I'm going to basically strip this. I'm not sure if I'm going to prep it or what, I don't know yet. I need probably a pair of gloves on and my tetanus, and judging by the oil slick that's on this. I've got to sort out, the wiring needs to come up. I'm not going to remove it from the car because I've already got enough on my plate as it is. I don't need to make even more work for myself because I'm already being daft as hell doing this in the first place. So I'm going to take the master cylinders off. With exception to the clevis pins, it's relatively easy. So I'm going to have to go and yoga pose myself underneath and pull the clevises out. If I remember rightly, having done this job before, if I remember rightly, I've used R-clips, not split pins, so they should come out a lot easier, he says. I hope I've remembered that right. So then the next task after that would be to remove the bonnet, the wipers, the wiper mechanism, get all that out. I know one of the wiper mechs needs replacing, so I've got the part already. I've had it for ages, but it's in I've got a tub of things to do, and it's in that. So that'll get a bit of sorting out. Yeah, and I think that's it. I think that'll do. I don't need to witter on anymore, I think. Very happy to be getting on with it, aren't I? Now, I've always been an advocate of, if you swear at it enough, it will come off. Come on, you son of a... Yeah. Yes.
Now that is what victory looks like, my friends.
So that's the subframe stripped as far as I'm going to take it. Now, you may have noticed it's upside down. I have had a busy couple of weeks at work, so off camera I've just given it a little bit of a rinse over, whatnot. So what I've done is used fairy liquid in a squirty bowl with a bit of water and a toothbrush, and basically toothbrushed a lot of the horrible nastiness off it, and it's come up pretty good. I can lean on it now and it not make me already dirty arms even dirtier. So the plan now is I'm going to get the Hammerite paint off it, because I painted it years and years ago, and a lot of it's flaked off anyway. A little bit of localised rust treatment. It's a front subframe that they're notorious for getting oil on them anyway, so they don't tend to rot. So this is fairly good. There's a couple of bent parts where I've jacked the car up over the years and it's bent the front subframe. So I'm going to, once that's all stripped, I've done the localised rust stuff. It's mostly just where the brake unions are, because the brake fluid's eaten the paint and ruined it. That's old school brake fluid for you. So once that's done and clean, and I've done me magic on that, I'm going to paint it with Frost Extreme Chassis Black. I've never used this before, but it says on the instructions, it says it can be used over bare metal. So we're going to do that. I didn't get any primer, probably should have primed it. If you're going to do it, prime it. I'm not. I'm going to baz over and see what it's like, see if it sticks on. I trust that it will. So, of course, it's going to work. It says made in England on it. It's always good, right? So, I think that'll do. Another time lapse incoming.
Yep, and I had to strip it all down and do it all again.
Now, there's quite a bit more rust on this than what I was expecting, but that's alright, because I've got FE123 rust converter from Rustbuster. These guys are just down the road from me and get on quite well with them. So I've used this stuff on the Mini before and it's come out pretty darn good. So this should help.
And when it comes to putting on Rustbuster, I recommend putting some into the cap of an aerosol can, and then that way it stops you from cross-contaminating the tub with rust molecules that you'll inevitably sweep off with the brush. No matter how clean you get it, you'll end up getting some back in. So that's my top tip for you. Here I am just banging some Metro Primer on. Goes on a lot better this time.
Now, we need to get the clevis pins out of the master cylinders for the clutch and the brakes, and disconnect them from the pedal box. Now, there's a few ways you can go about it. You can either turn yourself upside down and yoga pose yourself in and get them undone that way. You can go as far as taking the door off or take the seat out. Now, there's only 2 bolts holding the seats in, most Mini seats at least, so that's a nice easy option, and then just lay across the floor to get in there as well. I'm going to take the door off because it's got to come off anyway. I might take the seat out, I might not, but I'm going to go for the door option because it's got to come off because it's getting de-skinned anyway. because it's gone at the bottom. Typical Mini.
Right, we're under the driver's side of the front wing here, and there's meant to be a proper plate that mounts to this, but they're the bolts for they're the nuts for the hinges as well. So for some reason I don't have the plates on this side, but I do have some to replace it, so that goes back on properly.
Oh, here goes nothing. Ooh. Oh yeah. End up taking the seat out as well. There's literally 2 bolts, and then it comes out. So there we go. Right, well, this is what I've pushed in from the bay. Now I'm trying to see if I can see him. Oh my days. Okay, we're under the dashboard here. This is the throttle cable. That's the throttle cable right there. That's obviously loose because it's not connected to anything. The clevis pin we're looking for is that one. Obviously you find your way around and remove it from the other side. Now I'm going to have to move the camera and the light out of the way so I can actually get to this. So well, I'll show you where it was, just in case you didn't know. This is regarded as one of the most annoying jobs to do on a Mini. Hopefully you can see why, because it's bloody awkward. Okay, right, I'm right underneath now, and lo and behold, there's the other end of the clevis pin. In fact, there's the other clevis pin, and look at that, got our clips in. My life is so much easier. He says upside down in the footwell. It's a good job I'm short. I mean, what idiot welded that on with a stick welder about 12 years ago? Oh yeah, that'd have been me. Right, so you guys deserve an update. Several months have passed. I have got greyer and older. I've basically been busy with work, like you wouldn't believe, the last few months. So the poor old Mini has been sat there for ages, weeks and weeks, without anything being done to it at all. So nothing has been done on this at all until very recently. This looks slightly different to what it did. We are at the point now where I've primed both the inner wings, the engine bay. I have painted the engine steady, the ultimate engine steady, and got that done, and the bulkhead cover plate. We are just about ready for a quick key, a wipe, and then go flat out with the Raptor and get the Raptor on. So, but at this point, I've cleaned the inner arches, both sides, done a little bit of welding. There was a bit of cracking on the inner wings and stuff that I've now sorted out, which looked dreadful to start off with, but I've done it all again, tidied it up, made it look actually decent. There was a little patch on the flitch on the passenger side that I've probably the size of a 10p piece. I've had to patch up as well. I've also got the sill on the passenger side, which I will have to sort out as well. That's in the future. So at this point, I am concentrating on getting the engine bay done, getting the subframe back in, the drive, all the running gear, whatnot, up to the drive shafts and gearbox at least, because that's all engine. I have changed plans slightly. I was in the pub, as I've been tonight actually. I was in the pub, and a 1330 was advertised on Marketplace for a decent price. It had a very fancy crank and all this. So I had a 1293. I'm now going to 1330, which will suit the 7-port. Done a little bit more research, got the right cam, which has now arrived as well. Thanks Ross Thomas for that. So the camshaft should hopefully suit the 7-port head quite nicely. New followers, new cam bearings. What else did I get? Oil pump. Got a new oil pump. Anyway, so at this point, I best get on with Raptoring the engine bay and the inner wings. Raptor is awesome stuff. Used it before on other things. It's very good. It's a polyurethane base. It's tough as nails, good against stone chips and things. And when you do stupid things like I do with minis, having stone chip protection under the entire underside of the car is very useful. I've bought tintable Raptor because I don't want black in the engine bay because that'll look dreadful. So basically with tintable you add about 10% of your base coat, which then, funnily enough, tints it the colour you want it. So that's the next part of this video, is to tint it, paint it on, make it look pretty, and then hopefully push this video over the finish line, get that done, and then go from there. Right, now I've finished masking up, I'm going to, that's my Raptor liner tintable. That's my hardener. For that tub of tintable, I need 237 mils of hardener, plus 10% of the total, with some base coat. This is 2-pack base coat because Raptor is 2-pack. Right, so you have the option. Now I'm going to paintbrush, probably with this or with a smaller one, probably a smaller one if I can find it, is to paint all the little details with it, and then roller, with what you've already seen, roller the rest on because you get a nice effect with it and it looks even and whatnot. So I'm going to roller as much as I physically can, paintbrush the bits I can't reach with the roller, and then hopefully it'll look half decent. of what you will see, at least, because there'll be an engine in the way. With any luck, I would show you mixing it all up, but it's quite warm in here tonight. It's about 24 degrees. Raptor works best at about 20 and will go off in about an hour. Now, I've got quite a lot of surface area to paint at this point. I don't want to go risking it with having to set cameras up and whatnot, so I'm just going to basically mix it up, set the time lapse going, and just bang it out. So apologies for not showing you how to mix it and whatnot. It's essentially pour your hardener into this, stick the lid on, and then shake the merry bejesus out of it. You'd either put a Schutz, is it a Schutz gun? You'd screw your spray gun onto the top of this and spray it like you would normally spray stuff. So that's the Raptor coat done. That's the engine bay, the under the wings, and the back of my hand. Mint. It's a little bit on the transparent side. I think it's going to need another coat, which I'll do off camera. I've used up the tub of Raptor that I've got, so I'm going to let this go off, and then I'll sort that out for the next one. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for the subs. All 23 of you. Cheers. Whew. Hey, better than nothing, right? And yeah, thanks very much for this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Hopefully not be in 8 weeks' time. Alright, cheers.